So we got to address the financial hierarchy, as I
Yeah.
call it. All right. So you got a punch list of things in your financial life that you need to handle in
Yeah.
a specific order, right? There's no one set order necessarily. I like to think there is when I'm working with my clients, I have a set order that I want them to check off. But always number one pillar of personal finance is you need to have an emergency fund, right? So, you express that you have concerns, and we talked offline and fleshed this out a little bit more, but concerns of what if there's a medical crisis? What if I get in a car accident? What if something happens with my job? What if something happens with my spouse? Um, what if there's a pandemic? That's a good one. And basically, this emergency fund is so that instead of coming up with all these scenarios that what could go wrong, you know that you have a safety net that can weather any storm. So you don't know what the issue is going to be. It's an unknown unknown, and that's what makes it scary, right? So you know that regardless of what happens, this number that you have in your savings account
Hmm.
can weather that storm, right? So we got to hone in on what that is for you.
Well,
There's a couple variables.
yeah.
Everyone's going to be different, right? First one is going to be how consistent is your job and your income? And what are the chances of that changing, right?
Well, based on this last year or just ever?
We can use pre-pandemic.
Okay. I mean, I never know with as an actor, I never know when the next paycheck's going to come. I
Mm-hmm.
do have a part-time job that I can rely on
Mm-hmm.
and now Esteem, but again, Esteem is unpredictable. So
Right.
I would say I am not in the reliable income category.
Right. So that's going to adjust it up,
That'll
right?
make my emergency fund higher.
That's going to make that balance need to be higher,
Okay.
right? That inconsistency,
Okay.
right? The second is going to be your lifestyle. And that's going to depend on where you live,
Uh-huh.
whether you buy or rent, the uncertainties of that,
Uh-huh.
and whether you're bougie.
I'm not that bougie.
No, you're not bougie. Skincare.
Skincare
Skincare.
is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skincare's big.
But from my understanding, you're renting,
Yes, I'm
right? So
renting.
first things first, if you're renting, you have a fixed payment. So regardless of what it is, you know every month on the first, this is what you're going to pay. Now, if you own a house, you don't know when you're going to wake up and your water heater's blown out. You need a new furnace or you need a new roof, right? That's something you can't, a roof you might know, but you can't really predict those things. That's going to adjust your emergency fund higher. Okay. And just for, when you're trying to figure this out for yourself right now, I'm going to say somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000 is what we're trying to hone in on. Okay, there aren't much, if you own a house, if you live in an expensive area, if you have kids, all of those variables are going to push your emergency fund upward, towards that 20, maybe $25,000 range. If you're, fresh out of school, you have a consistent job, you're renting in a more affordable area, that's when you can maybe afford to go below the 10,000 on that emergency fund and do something else with the money. All right. We see most people fall between 10 and 15,000. But if you're living in New York, sorry, life's more expensive. If you're living in Pennsylvania, you can adjust that downward. Okay. So for you, you're renting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that crazy of a lifestyle,
No.
but you do have the job inconsistency. So I think for
Yes.
someone like yourself, I would be looking at like $15,000 would be your emergency fund.
Okay.
Okay.
And I don't touch that at all.
You do not touch that.